Tashi. Tashi. Hello. And here is Tashi. Is he a handsome boy? He's a handsome boy. Say hello, Tashi. You do that, and I will cut your nose off, silly.
Hi, David.
Morning, Bill.
Oh, here we go again. I got to get my live picture up there somehow. Ah,
Ta-da!
oh, hello.
This is Tashi. He's saying hello this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long was she gone? That was several weeks ago she got out, wasn't it?
Oh, Tashi, um,
Or he? Yeah,
he,
sorry.
yeah, that the last time he got out, he was just gone for like 8 or 10 hours, and then he showed up.
Oh, okay.
Uh, the time that when he really got out and he got trapped somewhere, he was gone for 18 days,
Wow.
and we thought he was
Yeah.
completely gone. And
Yeah.
one day he just appeared, very, very skinny and scared, and um, but he came back.
Yeah.
Mm.
Morning, Adam.
Hey, good morning, guys. How you doing?
We're doing just fine. You doing all right?
Yeah, hang in there. I've had this sore throat and cold for over a week now.
Ooh,
Wow.
Yeah, I'm still fighting it. So
geez, and it's just a cold.
yeah, I went and got tested for everything. Yeah, everything's negative, flu,
Yeah.
COVID, RSV, strep, all negative. It's just like a viral head cold thing.
Ah, a
So
bad one.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I had
yeah,
two of those last fall, October and December. Nasty things. But
yeah. It
yeah.
seems like there's a lot going around, and
Yeah.
everything that people are getting is pretty severe. It's taking a lot longer for people to get over stuff.
Ha.
My dad was sick with a cold. It was took him 3.5 weeks.
Whoa.
Yeah. So, you
Huh.
know, hopefully this doesn't take that long, but it's still hanging on. So,
Well, I'm glad you're hanging on. So you're not going to work, I presume.
I am now. Was out for 3 days last week.
Yeah.
I did some work from home. You know, I'm at a point I can go to work and function, but it's by the end of the day, I'm pretty tired.
I'll bet.
I still have kind of this like hacking cough and sore throat. So
Ah.
yeah.
So we're supposed to bring our cats?
Yes, everybody bring your cat to class. Morning, Bill.
Good morning. Good morning.
Tashi says he'll leave.
No.
Too many people.
Yeah.
Morning, Joanne.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm sorry here.
There you are.
Challenges this morning. The sun's so bright, my
Challenges?
glasses turn dark.
I see.
Yes, I see. I'm waiting for new ones. Won't turn so dark. But anyway, all right. I'll rename myself here. All right.
How long did it take you to clean up, Bill Bynum? I mean, Bill Nagel.
Oh, not too long, actually. As I said yesterday, it was a new guy, and he he put the plow down too far, and we had sort of an alpine ski area out there in the driveway.
Well, our plow guy sent a new guy to do the job, and he dug up the driveway, put gravel all over the yard.
Oh, it's a mess.
Oh,
Um,
hmm.
anyway, the boss said he'd come back and fix things in the spring.
Right. No point in doing it now.
No,
Yeah.
no. Okay. Any snow down in the south, Bill?
No, we had a walk a few days ago in 80-degree weather towards the coast on the Potomac, and you know,
Very
no,
nice.
we had what did we have? We had one morning it was just below freezing, and we had some pellets that looked like tiny hail,
Right.
which
Aha.
was quickly melted. So yeah, there have been winters though when we were living in Connecticut when they had more snow here than we had in
Yeah.
Connecticut. So
Oh,
it can,
really?
yeah, because the planting zone, because of the elevation on the mountain,
Ah,
we're right 2 miles away from the Skyline Drive,
oh,
and so you can get nasty weather here because of the elevation, and it's
yeah.
the planting zone is it's the same zone 6 as Connecticut, although I don't know if those have been revised as the climate warms up and the seasons change.
Good point.
Spring, yeah, but our daylilies are already out of the ground about 4 or 5 inches.
Daylilies. We haven't even gotten our
Daylilies, yeah, we have
daffodils.
daffodils blooming. We have crocus that are finishing, yeah, things like that. So it's pretty weird
Pretty
for
good.
Yeah.
here.
Well, nice to see them.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, it's nice, and I've been when I could, working outside to clean up the flower beds and everything, which is about 3/4 done. So
Yeah, well, ours are right under a few inches of snow right now.
I remember those days.
I remember them well.
Y'all come down here.
Okay, guys, let's get us underway here. questions, requests, comments, successes, failures,
All of the above.
anything? Are you practicing?
My,
Not as
my
much
practice
over
has
the
been a
last-
little bit less. One thing that I would request is a contrast between, and you've done it before, but I need to repeat between 5 and I guess 2.
Two.
Okay, sure. Okay,
Particularly the transition points and the, coming out of the C curve and so forth.
yeah, I will just make one comment about that, and that is, that at this point I'm thinking that you should begin to feel the transition points.
Mhm, mhm.
They are not specific physical locations. They are energetic locations that you have to experience and feel and know when to make those transitions. So I can tell you that it's somewhere within a range probably, but each of us is different. So just a comment about that, but I'll be glad to do
Mhm.
that. Anything from anyone else?
No, I would just say that I've begun to feel those transition points.
Good.
Not always, not everywhere, not consistently. But but every little breakthrough helps build to the next one.
Yep.
And I think it's still a challenge of finding enough time to practice to kind of just put it all together.
Yep. I think it's a challenge for most people who are living a work life and doing things. So sure. Bill or Adam?
I think sometimes I get frustrated because there is so much now to remember.
Yeah.
And I found myself the other day, actually it was probably yesterday, with the Woo class, you mentioned breathing, and I thought, when's the last time I thought of breathing in God's? I mean, things just drop out of sight for some, reason. I try to focus on one thing per practice, but I don't know if there are better or worse things to focus on at my stage of things.
Well,
But trying to incorporate it all is just flat out impossible for me right now.
oh yeah. And I recognize that, and I was, as a matter of fact, kind of interesting. I was thinking that I needed to probably have kind of a period of not throwing so much at you for a while, so you had a chance to absorb a little more. We are moving pretty quickly through an awful lot of material. We have been, and so I recognize that, and as I think I said to you, part of this is that I want to get it presented to you so that you can continue to practice and draw on it as you go along. Don't get stuck thinking that you have to have accomplished it now, because you won't. It is you just have to work through these stages and gradually add all the parts in that you can. Yeah. So don't be too frustrated. You're experiencing perfectly normal feelings.
Yeah, it does feel a little bit, and I don't know what the metaphor or the parallel is, like carrying all your laundry to the laundry room and having to stop and pick up the socks and then call.
I like it. Indeed. Nothing for you, Adam?
No, not this week.
Okay. No, I understand. I
Yeah.
understand.
Sound of exhaustion.
Yeah.
So let me just do a little movement 2, movement. Yeah, good, David. Movement 2, movement 5 clarification here. One of the things I'd say right off the bat, one of the big things is that in 2, you're doing a qua squat as well as the hopefully the C curve. In 5, you're doing a qua fold, which is not the same movement. So that's a big piece of the difference. In 2, the arms are a little bit more forward than they are in 5, just to distinguish that. But in 2, the transition points are pretty much top. So here's the full extension, full straightening. And here's the full bend. So you're straightening all the way through here and bending through a smaller part of the cycle of the arms and body. So one of the things, since Bill mentioned breathing, is this is a posture where your exhale is longer than your inhale. So it's a real cleansing posture. With 5, the difference, as I said, is you're doing the qua fold, and here the transition points, the bending finishes a little higher, somewhere in here, and the extension finishes probably somewhere in here. It could be a little higher, it could be a little lower. You will notice that pretty much you're doing a fairly equal division of the movement in terms of bending and extending, which was not the case in 2. So in 5, you're still bending as the arms are coming up and pushing the energy up the central channel. And then you're extending as you send the energy down the side channels. And exactly where those transition points are is you have to feel where it is for you, where they are for you. So do you have a question more, Bill?
Yeah, in 2, just talk us as you go through coming up. When do you start twisting out? To me, that defines.
So you're twisting in, twisting out.
Okay.
twisting in. So this is when you've crossed your wrists and you're in front of the dantian is roughly where that is.
Okay.
And then all of the extension out to here. And then bending in.
Okay.
Anyone else have a question?
No.
Okay.
That's great. Thank you.
Sure. So, what I would like you to do is to do a flow. And I'm going to be mean and just watch and see if I catch any things that I can help you with. But just do 10 repetitions. Don't do 20. I want to save some of your energy for later.
No,
Okay.
right.
I don't want to wear you out right at the beginning. So actually, that was very interesting. There were a lot of very good things and some things I'm going to point out.
I know.
And that's, as you know, part of how we function. We're just continuously reviewing and trying to refine what we're doing. So in movement one, deliberately getting here where you can perhaps see my arms. As you're doing movement one of the things that I noticed is that when you start, you want to allow there to be a bend in the arms so that as you come up, they can continue to extend. A couple of you are starting with the arms extending and coming up almost stiff-armed out here. Also, as the arms come up, there are two things that happen. One is extend out, the other is draw in and pull down. So don't lose both of those. What I was seeing happening was some going out and then just sort of coming down. You're losing this movement. If you lose this movement, that's a lot of what moves the energy back over and down the body, starting it down the body. So it's kind of important not to lose that. If at any point along here you want to stand up and do things with me, that's fine. Also, if you have further questions, just speak up.
So with that transition, how high is the goal for moving the energy here at in movement one? Are we trying to move it from our feet up through the crown of the head, like into the etheric body, and then back down and in?
Eventually, but not
Eventually.
necessarily today.
Okay. Okay.
But yes, eventually, absolutely. But as you know, movements 1 and 2, part of their principal focus is to get the energy moving. And so depending on the day and how your energy is moving that day, it may be that in movement 1, you don't get it all the way up, that you don't get it all the way up until you're into movement 2.
Yeah.
For the time being. Anything else on movement 1?
Can you do the transition at the bottom? I find that to be a little muddled.
You know, that I'm glad you said that. Because I could see that transition getting enlarged for some of you. So when here you're twisting in all the way down, and this movement down here can be fairly small. There is a little rounded movement so that you don't have boom, boom, but you do have the rounding of the corner. But it doesn't need to be a large circle. It can be a very subtle rounding there, and will probably get more subtle as you continue to practice. Okay? Did that answer your question there, Adam?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah, and there's not necessarily like an ideal height that should occur at. It just should be wherever you feel the energy transition.
Well, yes,
And
although it will happen pretty much starting about the lower dantian, and then as you move, um, then it um, really transitions right back up the side channels.
Okay. Okay.
But it is roughly in that dantian qua area.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
It's not down here somewhere or up here.
Yeah, I think a few times I found my hands were pretty low, and I don't think I think I started the transition too low, almost below the qua.
Yeah.
And that's how they ended up almost extended down.
The thing to be aware of too is you're doing a squat, not a squat. You're doing a fold there. So
Hmm.
yes, you can certainly get the hands too low, but
Hmm.
also it's not too hard to keep them in front of that area. It's
Mhm.
easier with the fold than it is with the squat, because with the squat, with the fold in front of that area is right here, but when
Hmm.
you squat, it is down here.
Mhm. Right.
So
Yeah.
you really have to stay aware of where that is in relation to the bodily movement. Okay.
Hmm.
Other movement one questions? So two, and I did see the confusions between 2 and 5. That's still not really clear for everyone. Um, so with 2, again, that speaking of that area in front of the dantian and the qua, it that is where this cross ideally occurs, and in 2, the twisting out begins here. So it is going out, but notice that my arms do not separate until somewhere up in this area, because what you're doing in this case is that you've come in, you brought the energy in, and now you're raising the energy and moving it out and starting it down. And then you're taking it on down and into the dantian. So I don't know if that's confusing. When we think about 5, we're we're now focusing on the central channel and not just the flow of the energy up and down through the body. So this movement is really intended to push the energy up to the crown of your head, and then to separate it out and down through the side channels, and then draw in to the center and up the center to the crown of your head. So I hope that kind of, hopefully that clarifies the difference there between the two a little bit. The thing with 2 is that I saw not happening for everyone is that your bend in completes here, and the twist and extending out starts here, but the arms stay together as you come up and then go out. And then in, up, and so the twisting out is going out, 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 in, out, 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 out. Okay. Questions on 2?
Just to confirm, then the breathing transition is the same point as the twisting transition, right?
Yes. Yes. In 3, I saw everybody is doing pretty well. There were just a couple of things I would say about 3. One is to continue to work on keeping the twisting in and bending in as you go to the next point continuous and then extend when you arrive. And then keep it continuous, including the C curve. And the problem here is, and it's one that I struggled with, is the tendency is to all of a sudden it's there. You want to try to keep that sense of twisting and bending in all the way until you're ready to release out. Also, when you're going from one, and I'll do the easy one first, when you're going from here and you're doing that bending and twisting in, you don't want to bring the hands into the center, which doesn't mean you haven't really done the elbows quite correctly either. That really limits that possibility. So when you get to here, the hands are on the sidelines of the body. And when you have twisted in, the hands are still on the sidelines of the body. And they twist out and they're still there. So they don't come in and out. They do this instead. Okay, that's probably the piece that most needs to be worked on there.
Okay. David, what's the difference between 12 and 6? And I don't mean 6 hours, you know.
Probably about 500 hours of practice. The difference is that there isn't a lot of difference. The difference is that you're doing a C curve at the bottom, which is fairly easy, and you're doing a C curve at the top, which is not easy. It's difficult. So part of that is not going too high at 12. One of the things you'll find is that in order to develop your C curve at 12, that if you keep the curve but don't go too high, it will allow you to release your back so that it can go into the C curve there. That's, I mean, that's probably the difference, quote.
So is another way of saying that there's less fold, or?
Well, there's less fold because you're at the top of your
You're at the top,
movement.
right?
So there has to be less fold.
Yeah.
So let me go through that.
There's less fold, but the same amount of C, right?
Hopefully. So you're extended here, you're going into the C curve as you bend through 6. You're starting to come back up and you extend out. And then you're going to go over the top, and there is some C curve, and then you extend again.
Yeah.
Not easy. And I think one of the things about that, I would say, is to not feel you know, if you can't do as much C curve at 12 as you did at 6, don't get hung up on that. Do what you can that feels appropriate there. If you overdo it, obviously that gets in the way rather than being beneficial.
Mhm.
Oh,
Okay, and that's very helpful for me.
good.
Yeah, me too.
Um, in 4, you really have to be really clear about all of the stages of 4. So when we get to the top, we're here, and notice my palms are facing outwards. Everybody's weren't. So they're going to bend and twist in as you come down, and they keep bending and twisting in to the bottom. And then they begin to extend and twist out. And you're going first to the extent of your etheric body, wherever you can feel that. And then the arms need, with the body, to continue twisting outward. So you have twisted in, you've started the twisting out. To continue the twisting out, they go in the same direction as you come up. They don't change direction. Then they twist in. Out, 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 dropping the elbows. In, bending, C curve, out. Feel the extent of your etheric body. Drop the elbows. And if you need to, remember that we talked about, did we talk about that already? Can't remember. About if you need to, if you realize when you get to this point, you get to here, you realize you don't have enough breath, puff, or extension to do the rest of it, that yes, you could have a slight twist in and then twist out, which allows you to extend that movement a little if you need to.
Okay.
Quite frankly, I did not find that personally particularly helpful, but it could be that it might help someone else.
Okay. I think I was doing the flying albatross version of that form. That
The flying albatross form. Okay. So any other questions about 4? Okay. So 5 is where we begin to focus on the central channel. So when when you when you begin to twist in, you're really focusing on the energy coming into the central channel and up, and continue to twist in until you have raised it as far as you can, whether that's here, here, or here. There's no absolute right or wrong. It's what you can do at the moment. So it is conceivable that your twist out might start there, or your twist out might start a little higher. It depends where you feel that, because that transition point is really important. It's where you're moving the energy from the central channel out into the side channels and down. Not to mention the full up and down flows and several thousand others as well, which you don't have to worry about at the moment. So really, with 5, it's important to begin to really try to feel what is happening in there, whether you're actually fully to the depth of the central channel or simply working your way down towards it, but nonetheless still beginning to be aware of feeling it coming in to the center and up, and then going out and down, and feeling when it's reached the qua, when it's reached the bottom of your feet and comes in to the central channel and up at the crown of the head eventually, and down. So, questions on 5? Okay.
No.
6, probably the most consistent.
Actually, David, let me interrupt. Just
Yep.
quickly do the transition from 4 to 5. I just am
From-
sloppy there. Yeah.
Well, that's a
I mean, feels like you're already there, but there's got to be a little more in there than what I'm doing.
yeah, because actually in 4, you've done pretty much your regular twisting to this point, and then you're condensing and coming up, and it's kind of hard there because you've got the bend and twisted in of 4 merging with the condensing at your qua, and so in the transition there's a little more movement than there will be as you continue with the movement of 5. So as you're coming from 4, this twisting in might be a little smaller, but the real condensing is in that transition as you start into 5. And then as you continue, the movement is smaller because you've condensed everything. So again, it's a matter of feeling, because you have to allow that drawing down, but then also the condensing in and pushing up. So you're right, Bill, it's a pretty complex transition.
We'll ask you about that again in a few weeks.
Well, did that give you enough to work on now, or do you have?
Yes. Yeah, it gave me some things to do where I was sort of not doing anything. So
Okay, well, that's good. Um, in the transition from 5 to 6, remember that you go to the cross of the wrist before you begin the transition to 5. And the difference here between 4 and 6 is that in 4, you're coming up to here and then twisting down because you're just working with the side channel. So you're there. In 6, again, you have that, be aware of the extension out to the extent of the etheric body, and a similar rotation up with dropping the elbows, but then coming in with the palms. They begin to twist in here and continue to twist in as you go down, and then out, 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 and then in. So the transition at the movement transition at the top is a little different between 4 and 6.
Mhm.
But that was actually not too bad. As a matter of fact, you're all doing just fine. I'm just really trying to give you some refinements here that will help the entire thing a little.
Yeah, no, and that's very helpful. So even for those of us who didn't ask questions, I think I at least learned things.
Yeah. So, any other questions anybody has?
I don't really want an answer this week. I don't think, because we're almost out of time. But it's not infrequent that my breathing gets reversed, and then it feels comfortable, and I just stick with that and go with the flow. And now and then you've said, well, that's okay. You can reverse the breathing and not reverse the breathing. But I'd like to hear more, maybe next somewhere along the way, about reverse breathing versus I guess standard breathing, in terms of exhaling and inhaling.
We haven't gone to reverse breathing yet.
But it just happens, and I don't know what is going on to make that happen. And then to re-reverse is not a good thing.
Okay, so let me say just a little bit, Bill, about that. What you're talking about, you're using terms that are a little confusing, because what you're talking about is reversing the breathing,
Right.
reversing the order of the breath, whereas reverse breathing is an entirely separate form of breathing.
Yes, and I have heard about that before. So I was getting sloppy with my exhaling and inhaling, we'll say.
And eventually we will do that in this practice, but it's down the road quite a ways.
Okay.
But what I would say is that the intention here is that you have progressed with your breathing far enough, your general breathing far enough, and you have a long enough breath that you don't have to always have exactly the same length of inhale and exhale. and it varies, and it varies intentionally. And so there are indeed those transitions. I think 4 to 5 is one of the ones that's difficult, because if you're doing the basic first method and you want to actually develop one consistency before you start really just getting random about it. But when you've come up in 5, you're now inhaling as you come down and condense, and you're continuing to inhale as you bring the arms up and then exhale out. That's always a long inhale. So to begin with, it is good to be consistent about inhaling with all the twisting and exhaling with in, and exhale with all the twisting out. Simply to establish the pattern. You're right. Eventually, it becomes not necessary to be so rigid, but as a beginning stage, it's important to develop the clarity of that, and then there, blah blah blah. So there's a little bit about it anyway.
Thank you.
And I will be glad to talk more about it. Any other questions at the moment? So I haven't done anything I prepared for today, which is just fine.
Next week.
And that's good. It gives you a week
That's
to
good, yeah.
just play with what you have.
Yep.
And I if any of you at any point feel like you are getting pushed too hard with new material, speak up, because I think it's important for me not to go too far, but my recent birthday of being 88 sort of reminds me that I'm probably not going to be teaching forever.
No?
I don't have any plans to stop at the moment, but I would like to finish teaching this to you before I do stop. So that's probably part of my feeling that I do want to keep progressing with it as quickly as we reasonably can. But don't feel that you can't say to me, that's just too much. I need a break. That's
Okay.
I do feel, David, that with the notes and the tapes, we also have the ability to go back, right? To kind of review that in a way. So
Yep.
not that we always do, but it's here.
absolutely
And that's important.
good. Any other thoughts or questions? Thank you.
No, thank you.
Thanks, David.
Great class.
Yep.
Good.
At one point, I double checked to make sure it was being recorded.
Yes, it was recorded.
It is. I saw it at the beginning. I just want to make sure it kept going.
Yeah, it is. It is. Great. Thanks. Have a good week.
Yep. You too.
Bye, everybody.
Yep.
So,
So, well, there's just an observation as we go into this one, which is that I realized that I'd kind of really lost the C curve in 3. I mean, in 3, I realized, ooh, what am I doing with my back? And I'm very aware of my back in all the others. And not C, but not 3. But so what you did was helpful. But just now, as we go into this, thinking about the flow, is that I think it probably 3 correlates a little bit more with the postures in the flow and how it's easier because of just other things you're doing
Hmm.
to lose it if you're not really very intentional about noticing it.
Yeah. Until it becomes,
Yeah.
so ingrained that it's just part of your movement.
Well, and I think as one of the Bills was saying about the breathing, it's like I don't think about my breathing anymore, but when I do, I think I'm in the right place because
Yeah.
I don't have to think about it anymore.
Right.
Kind of-
Right.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I think of that in many ways. And in many of the postures, I'm clear I don't have to think about it. But and like doing 6 of these, it's only one that I kind of went, what? Have I incorporated that? I think I was paying attention enough to the twisting or too much, so much, not too much, but so much to the twisting. And because of my knee problems earlier, I was worried about my knee and my back, but now that I don't have to do that quite as much, that I think it's back to the back.
Yeah. Good. Just be careful.
Yes, I will. And I'm on, one of the reasons it takes me a little adjustment is I'm on these kind of kitchen pads that you put in the
Oh,
kitchens when you do, because
uh-huh.
I do a lot of catering. So I have a double pad that I practice on that makes a difference on the pressure on the knee. So.
Oh, good. Good. So I have to admit that I don't have anything particular to say about the form today. I know Adam's not feeling very well.
Mm.
Yeah, and I started the day with a headache, although I kind of got rid of it somewhere in the middle of 3, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe you just send it away.
I sent it away.
I like it. I like it.
Jettisoned it. So yeah, I mean, I feel like we have a lot here, and a lot to remember to incorporate. I mean, I'm particularly thinking of 3 to incorporate into the or be more aware of. Are we incorporating it in?
Yeah. There's just it is just a practice that has a enormous amount in it now. But it's also based on, all the work you've done over a lot of years.
Well, that's, I think Adam and I have a bit of advantage because of the consistency
Absolutely.
of doing this. I do feel that. And when you think about it, going back to our just trying to learn things in the flow, I remember thinking I'll never get cloud hands, and now you don't even think about it,
Yeah.
it's just there. It's like,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
certain postures you just thought were just too challenging, or you couldn't get the really nuances of it. And now you don't even think about it anymore because you have. So I think that's encouraging, obviously.
Yeah. Good. Well.
But I'm willing to, call it a day.
Anything else for you?
Back to rest and Adam to feel better.
Can you just review gargoyles? It was several classes ago. You suggested a change there, and I'm really not grasping that change.
To gargoyles? What did I suggest?
I don't remember that.
It was something like in the transition. I'd have to rewatch it, but I've been trying to play with it, and I'm not getting it. But now I fear that my the original posture is kind of messed up, and I'm not really sure where I'm supposed to be going.
Well, with gargoyles, I think the difficult part of that is making the step empty and then filling it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, unfortunately, I don't remember what I indicated as a change. I don't actually have a sense of change there. We're in offering incense, and I think the difficult part is getting back into that rear foot, and there is a little rise into that, and then stepping back empty and going back to 100% as you rotate into the posture. And then obviously you rotated there and you step empty again, and the rotation back is what pulls you into the posture.
Hmm.
Was there something different than that?
Yeah, I'd have to find the class. It was some, I think there was like a kick added.
No, that was in. There's no kick added there. Absolutely not.
Okay. All right. Well,
I changed what I
Make sure we're
talked
on
to you
the same page
about
there.
was the change of the kick after Subdue Tiger.
oh, maybe I just got
Uh-huh.
it confused. Maybe.
Yeah, okay, I do have a vague memory of that one, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe that's my mistake. Is I thought you were talking about changing gargoyles.
No, no, tigers,
Okay.
gargoyles.
Tiger and gargoyles. Easy mistake, right?
Uh, as they're arriving at gargoyles, going into it and then doing a small circular kick, a
Oh, yeah.
it's a kick just intended to grab a leg and pull it off balance, and having the strike be separate from the kick so that it's a 1-2 thing. So you come into the center and there's a kick strike, and then
Okay.
step in and kick strike, step back, and then
Yeah,
Okay. Well, thank you for clarifying that, because I was really messing up gargoyles.
I don't know how you got a kick into the gargoyles.
Well, that's why I was like, I missed something. I missed something
Yeah.
on this one.
Well, I'm sorry if I confused you.
No, that was my bad. Thanks for clarifying.
Of course. Of course.
great, yeah. Thanks, so.
You're off to work, huh?
Yeah. It's okay though.
Okay.
All
Well,
right,
thanks, guys.
thank you very
guys.
much, David, great class,
Good
yeah,
seeing ya.
Take care.
okay,
Stay
Bye-bye.
well. Or get well.
Yeah, I'll try.
yeah,
Okay.
You
really.
stay well, I'll get well.
Okay.
Good, get well, right, okay.
All right,
Good.
bye, guys.
Bye.